Hello everybody, this is Patch from TCG Source, and today we're going to be doing a ban list discussion for January 1st, 2015, and I know the ban list is going to be coming out in a short while, and I just want to do a little pre-discussion video, if you want to call it that, about what you think is going to come back. First of all, what you think is going to come back, and then we're going to talk about what you think is going to get hit. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on it, I just want to get your guys' opinion mainly about what you guys think. So let's go ahead and go down. First of all, I want to talk about Cyberstein. Real quick, paying 5,000 life points to get a fusion monster special summon from your deck, that's pretty hefty in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, especially since a lot of things require you to pay life points anyway to get effects off, like Soul Charge and things like that. Important cards that you would normally run, Clipboard Scout, you would use that to search out cards, and I don't know if you necessarily run Cyberstein in that deck, but it's really not that big of a deal in the game anymore. Elemental Hero Stratos. I feel that this deck is going to come back to either. It's got to come back to at least one. The next ban list. This card, search out 3 Magellini in a deck. That's fine. Clipboard Scout can search out every Clipboard in the thing, but no. Stratus is banned. Come on now. I feel like this card's going to come back based on the simple fact that excuse me, my nose is a little stuffy. I feel like this card's going to come back based on the simple fact that the Elemental Hero Structure deck is going to be coming out soon. I believe it is the end of January, which is pretty good for the Elemental Heroes. And if Stratus came back to at least one, I feel like that would help out the deck a lot, especially with all the new additions that they have coming out for that deck. Sinister Serpent, I feel like this card would be great in a lot of decks now. It hasn't really been able to do anything, but I feel like this card isn't as broken as Konami made it seem. But I feel like that would be a pretty cool thing for them to bring back. Dark Strike Fighter. Now I want to talk about that. They reprinted Dark Strike Fighter, and they changed its effect to a once per turn. You can only tribute one monster and burn your opponent for that damage once per turn. Now I feel like that effect would give it kind of a justice to be able to come back to at least one. I feel like Dark Strike Fighter in the game would be just a really cool thing to have again, especially since you can't abuse his power like you used to be able to. I'm sure someone will find a way to break the card, but I feel like that would be a really cool addition to have back. Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Once again, I'm going to be kind of comparing to the OCG a little bit here as well. Trishula, you got Neckcloth of Trishula coming out soon, and I know it's not as broken as, the Synchro Trishula, but come on, I mean, it's just sometimes there's cards that are needed in the game right now, especially with how fast the game's moving right now. Getting Trishula out with the 2-2 monsters may not be as easy as it seems, but it's still a relevant card, and it still should be brought back to at least one, I feel. Number 16, Shockmaster. I feel like this card would just if this card came back to one like it is in the OCG, or not in the OCG, but if this card came back to at least one, I'd be happy. This card is super duper good. Some people would say it's broken. I think it's, it's a card. I think that this card is very interesting, and it shuts down your opponent's plays. But there's cards like Vanity's Emptiness and the Clipboards that do that anyway with the towers. There's a lot of things in the game that stop you from playing. So, I mean, Shockmaster would only kind of either prevent that or egg that on. I don't know. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about that. Wind-Up Carriers and Matey. I feel like this card might come back based on the fact that Konami's kind of like passively releasing support for the wind-ups, and they haven't really been doing much the past year now, maybe even longer. The wind-ups are just dead, and I feel like if this card came back, people would want to start playing it a little bit more with the new support and things like that. So I feel like that's a cool thing that's coming out. Dragon Ravine. Again, they are releasing support for the Dragunities, and hopefully this card can come back to at least one. That would be nice. But Dragon's Ravine, the only reason this card got banned legitimately is because of Dragon Rulers, and Dragon Rulers are just super duper OP when they were all at 3, so we all remember that painful time in Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright, Pot of Avarice. This is a card I wish would really come back. In my personal opinion, this card is just it would be so good in so many decks right now. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. Konami, bring it back to one. That would be nice of you. Spellbook of Judgment. We don't even need to discuss how broken that card is. Let's see what else is there. If I'm thinking of the correct card, Royal Oppression. I mean, compared to Vanity's Emptiness, they should bring that back. But we'll talk about Vanity's Emptiness in a little while. Solemn Judgment, I don't know how I feel about that card. I feel like that card could come back to 1. Based on the simple fact that, again, pendulums are a thing. You know, there's a lot of top tier decks that are just wrecking right now, and I feel like Solemn Judgment would stop a lot of plays and, you know, help out my boy BLS, the greatest. Nothing I really see that needs to be brought back to 2 or anything like that. Other than, actually, let me go back here. I feel like that Torrential Tribute and call me crazy, I think Compulsory Evacuation Device, Bottomless Trap Hole, and Torrential should at least go to 2. And I feel that way because of the simple fact that, well, with Torrential, with Pendulums, they'll just be able to come back anyway. And a lot of decks would probably run more of Torrential if it weren't at 1, because, you know, it stops the pendulum plays for 1 turn, which is, you know, good if you're facing the Clipboards, because then they can't get the towers off if they play that, or, you know, whatever. But I feel like Torrential Tribute at 2 wouldn't be that much of a problem. Compulsory Evacuation Device, again, some decks it only stops a play for 1 turn, but hey, it's still a good card, and, you know, almost everyone runs this card. Bottomless Trap Hole, this card, I feel like it almost needs to go to 2. I don't know if I'm just going out on a limb here, but it needs to go to 2. The way pendulums are working right now, once this card is brought out for a pendulum, after they go all in and summon all like 5 monsters from their extra deck, this card stops it and banishes everything. Against the Cleese, that is a big deal when you get rid of all of their monsters from their extra deck, because then they're just stuck. They're without a paddle, and then they have to restart. They have to search everything out again, and it's just a really big pain for them. And I feel like that card, if it came back, I would be definitely picking up some more Bottomless Trap Holes. Blackwing support going to 2, things like that. Yep. Wolfbark to 3 was a pretty cool thing on the ban list. Now I just want to talk really quick about a few cards that I think should be hit. No offense to the people that like Vanity's Emptiness. I do love Vanity's Emptiness. I think it is a great card. But the simple fact of the matter is, to have your opponent go off, you know, get all their Clipboard monsters out in 1 turn, or let's say they get towers out 1 turn or something after a pendulum summon, and then they Vanities you. You can't really do anything to that unless you have an MST, or you have a way to send a card from their field to the graveyard or their deck to the graveyard. It's a really big pain to try to get over that, because of the simple fact that if you can't special summon most of the time in the game, you're kind of finished. You have no response to anything, and that's really difficult to get over. So I think Vanities to either 1 or 2 would be a good option. Not completely banned, because I feel like that the game kind of needs Vanities now, but I feel like 1 or 2 would be a good number. Again, this is a discussion video, so put in the comments below if you agree with me, or if you think I'm dumb. That's fine, but I feel like the game doesn't need a whole lot of Vanities. I think that card should be brought down. I don't think, as much as I love the Shaddoll's, I don't think that any of the Shaddoll support is going to get limited and banned. And based on one reason is that pendulums are a thing. The Clees are a big deal. And a lot of the time, pendulums can handle, Shaddolls can handle the pendulums by simply destroying their pendulum's own monsters, which is really cool for them. I really don't think that they're meant kind of a matchup together to try to be countered by one another, if that makes sense. I don't think Konami would hit them. As for the Clipboards, I don't really, and I honestly believe this as well, I don't think they're going to hit very much of the Clipboard stuff, based on the simple fact that, you know, that deck would not be as good as it is if it got hit by the ban list. You know, not many people would play it. If you know, be honest, if Clipboard Scout were at 1, would you play Clipboards? You know, maybe 2 wouldn't be as bad, but if Clipboard Scout was at 1, you'd have a hard time playing the deck, because then you'd have to add so many more support cards to try to bring him back to your hand, or bring him from your deck to your hand, and that's just a huge old pain. I mean, there's a lot of cards that can search him out from the deck, like Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon and Summoner's Art. Those are great cards. You can run as many of those as you want, but to bring him from the extra deck if he is to be destroyed, there's only 1 card for that as far as I know, and that's I think the card is called Climate Change, and it brings I think up to 3 Clipboard monsters from your extra deck to your hand. which is a decent card, but I don't see people running like 3 of them. It just takes up deck space, and a lot of the time you wouldn't even use all 3. So clipboards, I feel like they wouldn't even get hit that bad by the ban list. They might go clipboard scout might go down to 2, or some other clipboards might go down to 2, but I feel like that they won't even get really hit by the ban list. I think I heard somebody talking about Diamond Direwolf going down to 1. I don't see why. There's so many other way more overpowered extra deck cards in the game right now, but I'm not really seeing the extra deck cards as a problem. The way I see Exciton Knight 101 and Castiles, they're a way to respond to really overpowered cards. So that's just that. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe for more videos here from us here at TCG Stores. And let me know what you guys think. Write in the comments below. Like the video. Just let me know what you guys think about the ban list. What you think I said wrong. What do you think they're going to actually ban? What do you think they're going to limit? All that good stuff. So thank you again so much for watching. And you guys.